Hello, I'm Tom Cryer. I'm an attorney, and I've got some shocking news for you. It was shocking to me when I heard it. I didn't believe it. You may not believe it when I tell you. But the fact is that the average American is not liable for any income taxes on his wages, salaries, and personal earnings. And that's a fact. I didn't believe it. I didn't buy it, and I spent the next 2 years trying to prove that it wasn't true. Instead, I learned that it absolutely was true. You've been taken for years when there is absolutely not one single law that says that you are liable for income taxes. There's not one single law that establishes a tax rate on you. There is not one single law or even regulation given the force of law that establishes what a standard exemption is with respect to you. Now, I can't blame you for being skeptical about this. I was more than skeptical. I thought that my friend who told me this had gone nuts. But it's a fact. It's the truth. And after 2 years of research and digging and trying to find a way to prove it to be false, all I could do was come to the conclusion that yes, it is true. You are submitting yourself to taxes to which you are not liable. Ask your accountant, ask your attorney to dig up the law that says that you are liable for the income tax, and ask him to show it to you. Thousands have asked the federal government to show them the law. And the federal government, the Internal Revenue Service, the Department of Treasury, the Office of the President, none of them have been able to respond with any single statute or any single regulation that makes the average American liable for an income tax. If you want to know the whole story on this, you can go to the lie-free zone. That's liefreezone.com and obtain this memorandum. This memorandum sets out all of the law applicable to the issue of what coverage the income tax law does have and what it does not cover and why it does not cover. You know and I know that if the Congress could tax you, they would. If they could, they would have, but they couldn't, so they haven't. So they pretend. Congress and the law doesn't say you owe the tax. The Internal Revenue Service says that you owe the tax in a publication called the Instructions to Your 1040 Form. Those instructions are nothing but instructions. They are no more law than Time Magazine or Mad Magazine or the New York Times. The fact that there is no law is made just as plain as it can be by Aaron Russo's documentary film. Aaron Russo, the award-winning filmmaker, has produced a documentary that establishes that the government absolutely refuses to respond to any question concerning on what authority do you make the man on the street pay an income tax on his wages, on his weekly pay, on his monthly salary, on his personal earnings that he earns with his own labor and his own industry. The saddest part is that if we were to corner the government and make them admit, they would have every right to turn around and tell you, look, don't blame me. I didn't make you fill in the form the way you did. I told you on line 1 that all I was taxing was taxable income. I didn't ask you to put down non-taxable income, but you did. You did that to yourself. We told you in statutes and regulations, plain as can be, that we don't want you to put down in your gross income and on your tax return income that's exempt, or revenues and receipts that may not meet the constitutional definition of income. But you kept doing it. What are we supposed to do? Slap your hand, make you fill out your form a different way? You did this to yourself, and you keep on doing it, and you keep on doing it, and you keep on doing it, and our fathers and grandfathers have kept on doing it. Well, it's time to know the truth. It's time for the truth to get out. If you want the whole story on this, go to Lie Free Zone and check it out. Pull the memo down. Go to freedomtofascism.com. Get Aaron Russo's film. I didn't believe my friend. You don't have to believe me. But in the segments that follow this, I'm going to show you, and in the memorandum that you can obtain at myfreezone.com, it will show you exactly why you've been taken, or worse, been tricked into taking yourself to the cleaners at the expense of your family and your community, your entire life. It's time for it to stop. Go to myfreezone.com. Find out how.